Hi, I am Susan Russell, owner of Mold Dog Knows. Welcome to our podcast, All Mold Matters, because all mold matters. You don't want to leave it. You don't want to let it go. I am joined this morning by Ryan Walker. He is one of our canine handlers. Ryan comes to us as a Marine, as a canine handler and a trainer, and with a background in narcotics, bombs, and now with mold. Welcome, Ryan.
Welcome. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being with us. I want to hear and have everybody hear just about your background and how you got into being a canine handler.
Well, before the service, before I joined, I actually wanted to do canine handling in the service. Some things happened, couldn't necessarily go down that route, so I went down a different route. Afterwards, I attended this school, AK9I, for 3 months because originally my plan was to join the FBI, and I knew that was going to be a lengthy process of just waiting for the application process and things like that. So I was like, I kind of wanted to just dip into this canine stuff just to see, and I went there and it kind of just changed my life in a way. I realized that this is what I want to do. I don't want to go another 5-10 years and pursue a canine career with a law enforcement agency or things like that and not get it because of corruption, politics, whatever it may be. So I was like, if I'm going to be able to be a canine handler, this is the way to do it. Go into the private sector and just work that way.
And you do narcotics presently,
yes,
and mold.
Yeah, mold now, yes.
Yes. So let's talk about, and you're also a trainer. That's another huge plus. You've worked quite a bit in training dogs.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me a little bit about that and what you learned. And
honestly, it's just the Becker down Barney style, in a sense, for the people who don't know much about this, is pretty simple. Honestly, it's a game for the dogs. And you're just associating an odor with a ball, food, anything like that.
So their reward.
Their reward, yes, ma'am. And eventually you take out the ball, and it's just the odor, and now they understand the game. You're painting a picture for them.
Okay. I want to get into the actual training of the dogs. You've kind of entered into that, but a lot of times when we tell people, or someone will ask me, "What do you do?" and I say, "I have a mold dog company," and people go, "A what?" And you're going to get that. You're going to get that a lot, that you're working canine.
I'm getting that now.
Yeah, you're getting that now. They go, "A what?" And then they'll go, "That's a thing?" But the minute you associate that and let them know that it's no different than narcotics or explosives or bombs or cadaver or COVID, let's talk about the training and then how you can transition that into different odors.
Okay. So for the training aspect of the dog, is you're going to have the scents, the odors that you're going to be placing out for the dog for training, right? And at first, it's just imprinting, getting the dog to understand what they're looking for. So basically, you want one specific odor for marijuana, cocaine, or things like that. The chemical compound, the breakup of it, that's what is made into whether it be synthetic or the actual live stuff. So now, for instance, square one, day one, we're just going to test out, see if the hunting ability, their drive, and things like that, because you got to see where they're at on that level and what needs to be worked on. But in a sense, it's just a hunting game, hide and seek. Hey, we're going to hide this ball out, and we're going to test your ability to hunt. And then after a couple tries, you throw in the odor now. Okay. Whether it be you have your synthetic stuff or your live stuff, now you're pairing the ball and the odor together. Hey, I find my ball, but I also smell this other stuff coming in, right? The marijuana, maybe cocaine, whatever it may be. And then eventually, once you take the ball out, now you know the dog understands the odor. He understands the game. He's not looking for his ball. He's looking for this odor, which will now give me my reward.
So on average, what would you say the time that it takes to get a dog ready for what they've been imprinted on?
I would say, honestly, it depends on the dog, really, and the training. Because, you could have a dog that will hunt and do it all day, but doesn't have much drive. So after 4 attempts, they just all right, I'm cooked, I'm done. I want to go back to the kennel. But you got to be able to see, can we build that, right? I need to see where they're going. They're going to a law enforcement agency. Are they going to a school? What kind of work are these dogs doing, and what are their capabilities? Most of your purebred ones, like your Maus and your German Shepherd, they're going to work all day. They're going to work until it's crazy.
It's crazy. It cracks me up how the drive in some of these dogs. And so we're using toy driven.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's just whatever inspires the dog to work.
Okay.
And if they're, sometimes it could be a misconception, but there's like 1,000 ways to skin a cat is what somebody told me one time when it comes to training. There's not always one right way. So like if a dog is food driven, they're going to work, they're going to eat no matter what. But sometimes you got to be aware, like, are they really just doing this for the food and they're going to get full and just want to stop working? But then you'll have people out there like, if the dog is food driven, they'll eat all day. And I believe that because my dog, anytime he's around food, he will just annihilate that. Any other dog's food, it depends on the dog, right? But I prefer ball, but the dog being ball driven. And it's just because at that point it's a game and we're just playing hunt all day. We're just making it fun.
My next question for you, which I think is really important, is just about the handler. I've heard it said, and I do tell people, you can train 10 dogs and they can all be, like brilliant, like hardcore good scent detection dogs. Mm-hmm. But if you have a handler that is not knowledgeable, your dog, the team, the canine team, is only going to be as good as a handler. Can you speak into that?
I can.
And why it's so important that the handler's well trained?
Of course, you need both because one, the dog is for his mind or in his world, he's going to look for this. I'm going to find it. I'm going to sit. I'm going to stare. I'm going to go into it down. That's my job. As a handler now, we have to understand like the dog he's not thinking about, hey, how is this air flowing or what is causing this or that. They're looking for the odor and they're, essentially sourcing it out. As a handler, we have to understand like, okay, well, it's hot outside or all these different variables, right? Or if we're inside, closed doors, is AC going? Is there airflow coming through? Is this odor pinned, trapped somewhere that the dog really can't get to? But
like an electrical outlet or something.
Could be,
too.
Correct. Like there's an instance you could get sometimes where let's say like the odor is in the corner behind a cabinet, right? And it's only seeping out one way, like a chimney effect. Going up to not the chimney, but up the corner, coming across the roof and coming back down. Uh-huh. So the dog will essentially alert on this side. But you're looking at a plain wall, you're like, all right, what's going on here?
So you're making that determination.
You're making that determination, hey, let's go bring over here, check over here, because maybe he just caught odor over there, and that's as best as he can get right there.
And there's something called a cone scent. Can you explain that?
So really it's just, I say just sourcing out, finding the actual source. If you want to think of it like, you walk into a room, you smell popcorn. The further away you are, the very small, distinct smell of it. The closer you get, you're going to go to the tip of the cone where it's smaller, and that's where all the concentration is, and that's where source is, quote unquote.
Tell me about, is it an important dynamic? People are sometimes surprised to hear that canine handlers live with their canines. Like even in law enforcement stuff, how important is that?
It's very important. It's a bond. It's you and your partner. In a sense, you take care of them. They look for you for pretty much everything, right? Okay. You don't want. A lot of dogs can have multiple handlers, but in my opinion, when you have one dog, one handler, it's like you having just one best friend. It's your partner. You do everything together.
And you're really, though, bonding. In that bond, you're learning to read the dog's behavior and getting used to their search patterns.
Exactly.
They're getting used to you, and so there's definitely a relationship, a very strong relationship being developed there.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any real-world scenarios as far as detection when you made a really critical find? Anything you want to share that you're just like,
Actually, no. I've never really Not yet. I've never got to. Yes, with the mold dog, I would greatly think that we are going to find something.
Yeah,
a lot of it.
I think one reason we wanted to bring you on board is your heart for helping people. Can you just tell us a little bit about who Ryan is and why you're working with us?
Yes, ma'am. So for the viewers out there, my name is Ryan Walker. From a very early age, I've always wanted to help people, whether it could be anything. I live by this thing called it's my mantra is one good deed a day. I don't care what it is, just a complete stranger out there. It's just, I live like that because I see my dad struggle a lot, and he took into account, he had a lot of pride in himself not asking for help. Kind of got passed it down to me. So there's a pro and a con. But there's a lot of people out there that can't help themselves. And there's a lot of people out there that do a lot of evil. And sometimes I think, evil should be matched with evil, but with a good mindset behind it and a good heart, good intentions. Because the way, the system can be set up, it's not always fair. And, we can't just lock evil up in a place, you know, and they're still out there. Like that we got to match it, right? But for instance, I want to be a service to anybody I can, whether it be this or something else. And when I got in contact with you guys through Wes, I found that very appealing to me, because like nobody's doing this. You know, I talk to all my buddies who are handlers, and they're like, "Wait, what are you doing?" And I'm like, yeah, it's different, but it makes sense. You know, this is a way that we're not just, you know, canine handlers to helping find bombs or maybe narcotics. Now we're helping individuals who, with mold and their sickness, can drastically change their life and their lifestyle.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time. You're going to be making a huge difference, and that is our attention to not just. I had brought it to someone about we want to set the bar, we want to set the standard. It's like, no, we're going to be the bar. We are going to beat the standard. So that's our goal. That's our goal. Thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate that.
You guys for having me.
All right. And thank you for being with us on All Mold Matters, because all mold matters. It needs to go. And join us for our next episode.